Holy crap, I look tired, but here we are. Bearded Biomed here. Just left a customer site. Yeah, I'm still in the field even though I'm management. Still do biomed things, PM stuff, fix stuff, break stuff on occasion. The reason I'm making this video is because I kind of feel like I need to bring people's attention to stuff and also kind of share my troubleshooting method or my mentality with it. So reason I'm out at one of my client sites today is they reached out to me. They said, hey, we had 3 cautery units go down and we don't know why. Can you get out here? I'm like, absolutely. Let me figure out what's going on. So I get out here and I come across a Force FX, Force 2, and a Force FXC. Yes, these things are ancient and old, and dear God, why haven't they replaced them? But here we are. So basically what had occurred is while they were using it during a surgical case, the units would throw and just stop working, which that's not an error code, which we'll get to that in a second. The first thing that popped in my mind was there a power surge or something going on? But the odd part of that is that along with other devices were also attached to the same power receptacle, and no other device had any power issues. No fault in any other kind of device, solely the ESU. So I went ahead, I took them over to a service area, took them apart, went through all the insides, made sure everything looked great, put it back together, checked the power cord resistance, all that looked good. Went ahead, ran it through its paces with my ESU tester, cut coag from min to max. Everything was checking out beautifully. And I was about to walk over and let them know, hey, everything looks great. This is an intermittent failure. I can't figure out what, but something in my mind was like, no, this isn't right to leave it like this, because this is a trend. This is a chain of events that is occurring on multiple devices. This will happen again. And I do recall one of my techs going out and looking at one of these devices a couple months back for an intermittent failure as well. So I'm like, what is causing this? Well, what ropes these devices together is going to be user and accessory. So the first thing that popped in my mind was going back to the error code. They had said 8888. Well, there is an 88 error code on these devices, and that is a REM alarm. So that is an issue with the unit saying that there is a not a proper ground from the REM connection at the port to the patient. Usually it's going to flash, possibly throw an A8, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I need to look at the pad send. So I went over to SPD. We pulled some of the pads. They're not expired, but as soon as we walked out into the main OR suite, I had the lead OR tech walk over to me, and she said, oh yeah, those pads, they're crap. And I was like, what's crap about them? And she said, well, it doesn't happen all the time. Key phrase there, because this is an intermittent issue that's trending with all these devices. But she said, when we take it out of the packaging, the patient pad, depending on how nice you are to it, or if it just feels like crapping out on you, when you take this white piece, which this is the port this is the connector that goes into your REM port, this will literally break in half or fall apart, and they have to squeeze it back together real hard, real quick, and shove it into the port. And I'm like, that's the answer. This is what's causing the problem. The fact that they have these ports just willy-nilly just falling apart. They also said that this little pin right here, it'll come in warped or broken off or whatever. So I'm sure y'all seen this, because this is a universal ESU pad. And there was a company that used to make some that this hospital used to use. Never a problem. They stopped making them, and then another company started making these. And all of a sudden there is what I would call a quality control problem. I'm sorry, but if you have multiple pads within multiple lots where this is just snapping apart because either they're not using a good enough adhesive, or just maybe it just clicks into itself and the the 3D printer or whatever the hell they're using to manufacture these is not up to snuff. I'd be very curious on if anybody else has experienced this. I'm not going to throw the company under the bus. You could probably guess for yourself, because personally, I don't feel like getting sued. Even though I have multiple documentation of this occurring. And that just goes to show, like, when you're trying to identify a problem and solve a problem with a medical device, don't just stop at, well, I tested it, everything's working. Try to think outside the box from time to time and understand what could be chaining these events together. You will find that as you go through this field, there is a lot of things that tend to pull together. There's a lot of happenstance that usually occurs from something not being done correctly, something being used improperly, or quality of accessory or damage to accessory that could result in the problem. So I wanted to bring attention to this. Like I said, this isn't a one-off. This has occurred multiple months. And I'm sorry, but if you have the main component of something that's supposed to prevent patient injury and provide patient grounding breaking off and requiring them to try to make it work, that is a quality control issue. So yeah, I would love to hear your comments, concerns, maybe if you have any experience with this as well. I just thought it was worth bringing up. And may you have a bearded day, and yeah, have fun. Whoop-de-doo. Later.